Right, good afternoon and welcome to Business Today. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi, coming to you live from the capital Nairobi, right here on Mombasa Road headquarters. And we are going now to be looking at generative AI, which is a type of artificial intelligence that can create a wide variety of data, now such as images, videos, audio, text, and also 3D models. It does this by learning patterns from existing data, then using this knowledge to generate new and unique outputs. Now, generative AI is also capable of producing highly realistic and complex contexts that mimics human creativity, making available for many industries such as gaming, entertainment, and also production design. And also the recent breakthroughs in the field such as GPT, which is generative pre-trained transformers, and Midjourney have significantly advanced the capabilities of generative AI. Now, these advancements have also opened up new possibilities for using generative AI to also solve complex problems, create art, and even assist in scientific research. Now, all this, what are we trying to talk about? Today, we'll be talking about generative AI and what it's doing in order to just increase the reach of tech within Kenya and also the globe. And to discuss this, I'll be joined by Nelson Amenya. He'll be coming later on. He's the head of marketing for EPV Circle in France, and we are going to be looking at this even more broadly and what this means for the tech industry. But before we get to that, let us look at some of the stories that we have today. Now, the private sector is calling on the government to make cuts in its own spending to enable the country wiggle its way out of the current economic challenges. Speaking during the Impact show on KTN News, which is a special on the cost of demonstrations, Kenya Daima Chair Muchai Kunyiha says that the government should also rationalize its policies to ensure tax and subsidy measures are not counterproductive. This even as it emerged that new taxes on packaging material are pushing up the cost of commodities.
When we look at what we could do for the cost of living, the one side we are not seeing government working on is on their basically government expenses. Because our taxes, we are seeing they want to keep rising the taxes. We are seeing government expenditure wants to increase. And the source of this money is what we don't know, because they're going to be, it's taking from us again, the same people. And that actually is a big cost of living. So the cost of living, maybe we should start changing it to start discussing what is the cost of government? Because that is really the question. They are the ones who seem to be wanting to take a lot more, a bigger chunk of the pie. Then I would say maybe they are justified. And especially when we are going through difficult times. And I think for all of us as Kenyans, we need to know these circumstances we are in. Some of them we made them ourselves over years as Kenya. Our productivity has gone down, as we've been told. We've borrowed a lot of money and we need to pay it, because when we borrow as Kenyans. It's not individuals. So all those issues, they come together and we have to deal with them. So that means we must all cut down. And whereas we see government asking us to cut a lot, we are asking them, where are you cutting yourself? Can we see some of your savings? And then, of course, there are some things that you do, you start wondering, are we thinking through this thing? I'll give you a good example. I'm sure we'll get to the Finance Act soon. Somebody in their wisdom thought that it's a good idea to add tax to the packaging paper for unga. So right now that additional tax, I'm being told, is about 5-6 shillings per bag of unga. When the price of unga is already high and rising, why would you want to add the cost of the unga by increasing the tax on paper? It is totally unnecessary and uncoordinated in what government is doing. So we must really start thinking fully. You might subsidize the price or the cost of growing maize with fertilizer and so on, and then you put a tax on the bag. You're not going to achieve much that way. So we need consistency and some reduction, I think, from the government side in terms of what is the cost of government.
This is not the time to start legacy projects. We need to get ourselves out of the hole. This government has another 4 years. Can we spend the next 6 months figuring out how we come out of this? And one of it is, I was looking at our food import bill, the food that we eat here. Generally, Kenyans buy 80% of the food that they eat. They don't produce, they buy. But then the country imports, in the last 3 years, I think we've spent close to 600 billion on food imports. By around April this year, from the same time last year, 210 billion on importation of food. Would you imagine if we supported local production and even 50% of that is reduced and recirculated amongst our own producers, the farmers here? That would ignite the economy.
Okay.
The other one is we need money circulation amongst SMEs. We cannot get that, Noah, if I'm looking at the rates of the bonds that I saw recently. A 5-year bond attracting 17%.
Yes.
You and I would our commercial banks lend you if government is giving 17% on a 5-year bond? 3-year bond was 6%. Yeah, so that really, they also need to reconsider that.
Okay.
Government must reduce its borrowing from the domestic economy.
Okay.
And reduce the interest that they're paying on the bonds.
All right.
Now, still staying with the Impact Show, now the government has been challenged to spur local production to make it